What's up, Bob Becker here. Welcome, Big Pippin family, Pulse X family. I am super excited to go over the analysis this week. This is October 3rd, 2022. And I'm just jumping on the 4 hour. I'm going to start with the supply and demand indicator. I'll slap the Pulse X on here and there and kind of show you what I see with Pulse X. Pulse X Premiums live just a couple weeks ago. That's at pulsexpremium.com. You can check that out later. That's cool. But this is going over supply and demand indicator mainly. So just real quick, right out the gates, I am on the 4 hour. And I just wanted you to see, okay, what direction are we going, right? Lots and lots of red. That means it's waiting for pullbacks into these higher time frame order blocks. So we're not going to take anything until it goes up into this area, right? That's just one way that we trade. But once it goes up into this area, like you could set an alert, add alert, and not alert, add alert right here. And you just kind of type, let's see, getting close to box, look for buys. Now, I know, this is NASDAQ, by the way, NAS 100, check out the background. I know some of my students, they literally just they'll just get in a position when it gets close enough and they swing trade it, or they'll just go for a quick one-to-one. They'll use a 200 pip stop. That's totally fine. I use a lot smaller stops usually. But, you know, and you can go for these lows, 1.5, 1 to 3 is very easily doable if you held it on that. But you don't have to do that. Main reason I'm sharing this with you is so you can see the overall analysis is down right here on NASDAQ. I'm going to just jump from chart to chart really fast. If I have any drawings, I apologize. So let me just go here. For the time being, it's down on the higher time frame, right? We are having some structure breaks right here with a solid break, which means it's probably going to go up to this block before it sells off again, if it's going to, right? If you look at the overall, you kind of got to do this. Let's see. I'll just kind of do this for you. 1 second. Pulse X so we have lower low or higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low possibly because it didn't break this low, and it could be going up now. Right, so now that we know overall direction, let me put this up so you don't get confused. Now that we know overall direction, you can literally go down to lower time frame and look for order blocks on the lower time frame to possibly get in for buys, right? And it's smashing up right now, obviously, but let's see if we could have gotten any buys, okay? Let's look a little bit higher, 30-minute. See if there's anything nice down here that it could have grabbed. Yeah, look at that. So on the 30-minute, while we were down here, you could have looked for a break of structure back up, or even lower time frame, look for a structure break back up, and then taking it. Let's check out what Pulse X said to do. Pulse X literally called it. Look at that beautiful trend. Oh my gosh, this is stupid. Let's just see if these were winners. Right, that one wasn't a winner, but you wouldn't have taken that anyways because it didn't break back up above the 20. This one was. You might have lost this one. This one would have been, I just have to see that, 67 pips. This one would have been from that break right there to here. That would have been 181 pips. This one right here from this, that's our entry, 177 pips. This one would have already been, holy crap, 133 pips. Yeah, Pulse X is killing it. We got so many awesome new members this last week. We have 3 live coaching calls per week. It's going really well. So, but we play off the order blocks, right, with Pulse X. They go hand in hand on it ultimately. So let me go back. Oh, let me go back to my bad. There we go. Let me go back to here. Turn off Pulse X real quick. And just kind of keep going through the motion so you can see the flow of what everything's happening. Okay, so here at GBP, let's just let it load for a second. All right, lots of green. What does that mean? Instantly, we're looking for buys, right? On the short term, we're looking for sells because we're going down to these buys. But on the long term, looking for a swing trader, we're looking for entries off these green boxes. So this is overall up, probably going back up and taking these highs out, right? Because that's how it works. GBP USD, this is definitely going to be sells. Okay, lots of sells. So ultimately, tons and tons of sells, which means we're going to be mitigating this block probably and dropping down to take out these lows, right? GJ, now this is kind of sideways, but I'm going to guess. So it took out liquidity, all this liquidity. And whenever you see this happen, like it came down and take out all these stops down here, like literally took out all that stops, and overall trend was up, you should start looking for buys. So like let's look for an entry that we could have taken on GJ, right? Let's just look down here. Once that was taken out, meaning once it took out this liquidity, right? I could draw the line across. Let's see. Yeah. Once it took out all this liquidity right here and started shooting back up on the 4 hour, once you had one solid candle close above, after that, you could have, this is one of my favorite moves, by the way. Let me go back one more. There we go. So once it took that liquidity out that line, let me just line that up for you so you can see it. Oops. There we go. All right, let me get, you could drop down to the lower time frame and look for break of structures, right? So not really any break of structure, but you have a continuation trade from this block, right? So if I were to go back, there should be a block, an order block that it detects down here. Let's see if it loads up. There it is. So that would have been your entry. You had this nice break, then you had this. This is your cue that it's probably going to at least fill this area. You could have waited for this, creating a new high. So you had a lower low, then a lower high, lower low. Then you had a higher high, right? Because it's not a break of structure because it didn't break like up here yet. But this is what I call a continuation trade. So right when it drops down into this area on the lower time frame, if it does, yeah, it did, you could literally enter. You don't have to go too crazy. The market's not black and white. You don't have to go crazy on your entries. But, that would have been, that's pretty big stuff. Hold on. Yeah, you could have put it underneath this order block possibly for the first, or this low right here. It's still a big stop. I would have maybe just dropped it right here. Once it mitigated this area, closed this area, and then mitigated that area, that would have been it's still a big stop. I use, my stops are like usually like literally 10 to 20 pips, right? But that move even with a 44 pip stop would have yielded you a 1 to 9.5. So I'm just showing you one way you could enter, and I would have been taking profits for sure up in this area until I saw some kind of break of structure and then a pull back into this area again, because it could have just been mitigating and continued back down, right? So, I mean, I could play it out and see what happens. But yeah, see, that's exactly what happened. Look, broke structure right here. And then drop back down, you look for an entry. You could have possibly entered right here again after you took profits. Stop below this low. You're already at a 1 to 3 almost there. And then maybe go up to the next one. You could try it. Yep, there it goes. And then it just keeps happening. Every time, you always got to look left. Every time it breaks structure to the left and starts coming back down, look for the last unmitigated area. And this is right here. So let's just show you right here. As soon as it hits that 50%, you put your stop right here. Go for these highs, at least it's a 1 to 3. Boom. And then just remember, the order flow goes, it breaks structure on the left, drops back down to an unmitigated area, shoots back up, breaks more structure, comes back down to an unmitigated area, which is right here, this 50%. So we'll just call it right here if it starts going up from there. Put your stop right there. Let's see if it comes down. There, we would have entered like right there. Okay. And you target more red on the top. So we would have lost that one, but then you would look for another entry up in this area. If I see a break of structure here, then a pullback. No, it didn't. So it didn't break that structure. So we lost one and we gained, I don't know. If we looked right here, that was a 5, plus 6, plus 10, right? And then you lose one. So this looks like it's coming directly for this area right here. Let's just see if it touches that and shoots up. Now if I start seeing breaks again, like this area right here, which isn't a break, it's just a new high, then I'd be waiting for a pullback to enter back up. But I think it wants to fill this block. Let's just see. Nope, we got a break. So see how it broke? Not broke. Create a new high here. I'd wait for a pullback here for an entry. So let's see if it gives us a pullback. There's your pullback. I'd like to see it go deeper though. It's kind of just going sideways. There's your pullback. All right. And there it is. So in that area, this is where you're going to look for break of structure-ish back up and just take a buy. There's a break of structure, and then you took a buy, and hopefully it takes out all this liquidity. So this is what I'd be looking at. You have a bunch of liquidity right here. Like that. And it needs to take that out eventually. But it does have this big block down here. So you're essentially, you could be entering right here for a buy to take out this liquidity, but it could come down here first. So it's kind of risky. So you're just looking. So it broke that structure. There's no entry there. You'd really be looking for an entry down here. Unless this structure broke, then you wait for a pullback. So it's always about break of structure. Oh, well, look, it just smashed past the liquidity. Look at that. So right here, let me show you the entry with that. Remember I said break a structure, right? Here was the first. Let me just do this down for you. I'm just going to draw all the structures, right? This broke that area. So then you wait for pullback, you sell, right? All these little ones, can essentially be structures. All right, you had break right there. You could buy, pullback, buy, right? And then, but here's the most important part. This is what I want you to see. This right here broke that area. So we bought right here. And remember what our target was this liquidity right here. And then it messed around a little bit, messed around a little bit, messed around a little bit. And then 6 a.m. hits, boom, takes out liquidity with this one move. So our entry essentially would have been on the first break of structure back up on the pullback. So you could have essentially just put that right there with a 4-point or a 13 pip stop and essentially rode that sucker past liquidity, right? Mine would have been a little bit tighter, like a little bit right above that area, but that was a 1 to 20 right there. And I told you, like we were just waiting for the break of structure, and our target would be this liquidity, right? So let's just see what Pulse X did there. It's going to be a little bit messy probably on the... okay, this never came back down, so this is a invalid entry. But this right here did, so let's just see if it lines up. This would have had you enter right here. No, not yet, not yet, not yet. It would have entered right here above the 20. But so it wouldn't have been as good of one, but it still would have been good. So this would have been on Pulse X. This would have been a 1 to 5. Still good, right? It's free money. So there's that. Let me go to the next one real quick. I got to get my son to school actually, so let me just kind of scroll through real quick and just see what we got here. People have been killing it in BTC USD. All right, lots of green. Right, so which direction are we going? Up, right? Easy. GBP AUD. Notice how it broke structure to the left. We're waiting on a pullback to mitigate. So back into this area, this would be my first entry. If I see a nice little break structure on lower time frame, second entry, third entry, right? Why? Because it broke the structure. All right, so Euro USD. I'm going to guess it's going to mitigate some kind of order block up here. So right now we'd be looking for entries in this box once it hits 50%, right? The DAX, German 30. Let's see what we got here. I'd be looking for sells right now, actually. It's perfect timing for this. So no break of structures down yet. So once this structure right here gets broken, so if it looks something like this, boom, 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 boom. Once that's broken, I'd wait for pullback and enter for a sell. Right, short would be like this. Right, targeting some of these lows. These, right? 0.8. So if, again, looking on the 4-hour, we're in that zone to sell. Right, and this big block is being mitigated. All right, so the S&P is probably going to be similar. Yeah, same thing. Sells. US 30 sells. We're looking for sells. Let me look at it. USD CAD, it's going to be buys. Why? Because this structure was broke. Well, created new high. Actually, no, that was a break because this broke this low. No, we'll call that a high. So this created a new high, right? And we're waiting a pullback in this area for a buy right now. Simple. USD JPY. Let me just remove drawings. Pulse X. There we go. Kind of going sideways. I just wouldn't even be in USD JPY right now. Oil sells. I mean, instantly you can see that, right? It's pulling back. It's mitigating. It's rejecting. Go down to the 1 minute. You're already having. Let me show you the path again. See low or higher, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right here, or lower low. It broke that structure, actually in this structure. So right here would have been your entry. So you would have, on the pullback, right? You could have stopped right here or here. You put it right here. And you already be at a 1 to 3. And you'd be targeting like bigger order blocks like this, then this. Just kind of like let it run through, right? So 1 to 5 oil. Gold. Love you. You guys love gold a lot. I'm going to guess it's probably going to take this liquidity out. Overall, it's a downtrend, but yeah. So I'd be looking for sells. Probably once it comes up to this box right here, and then sell off. EJ. Look at this structure. Broke this big structure over here. Came all the way down here. Didn't take out this low. So I'd be buying right now, actually. So like let's look at this real quick. First of all, let's look Pulse X. Pulse X said to buy. So we had the signal, wait for that rejection. We'd entered right here, so that would have been really good. This move would have on Pulse X would have been right there and put under the wick right here. It would have been a 1, 2, 3 already. But let's look on the smaller time frame. Get rid of Pulse X. And just look for some kind of an entry right here. All right, so we had, I want you to see structure, okay? I'm just going to go down with it on the lower time frame. Hopefully you could see it. Right, okay, and then this didn't break that low, and this broke that high, or that lower high. So on the pullback, I would have entered for buy, right? So this would have been my entry, long right here. You can put it under the 50% of this order block just in case it comes down. So 5.5 pips stop. 1 to 4 already. All right. So then you would kind of target like a block right here, the highest block. So you just push play. Let's see what it goes. There we go. Bingo. Played around for a little while. That's how we get them super tight ones, right? 1 to 10 right there. Would I have waited that long? I don't know. When it was going sideways like that, if I have to be fair, I might have gotten out at 1 to 4.5. And that's totally fine, right? Because if I'm risking 1%, That's amazing. So I would have taken profit here, or partials at least 50%, set stop to break even. If it breaks this structure, then I'd wait for a pullback and maybe enter again and kind of layer in. So let's just see what happens. Okay, we're not there yet. So we just broke that structure. So we'd be waiting on a pullback here for buy, right? Cool. OddCAD, let's look. 4 hour. Always start higher time frames so you can see what's going on. Obviously sells. I could see it right away. Yep. Sell from here to here actually right now. If I look, lower time frame. We're actually up into that zone right now for a sell. So we'd be looking for sells in this area. If we start seeing rejection in this area, it's a really good chance it could drop down to these lows. All right. Euro odd, 4 hour. All right, didn't break that high. That's the first thing I noticed. Came all the way up, didn't break that high. This came all the way down, broke that low. So which direction are we? Sells, right? So we just tagged this this order block right here. If I see it break a structure here, I'm definitely selling. You don't want to sell when it's down in this block, okay? You want to wait for a pullback, then sell. But what I'd like to see, again, is this structure to be broke back down to the downside, then a pullback, then enter for sell. USD-CHF sells. I can see it right away. We tagged this block right here. This is a great time to actually look for a sell on the lower time frame. So what do we have? This came out, did not break this high. This came down and broke this low. So check this out. All right. Actually, hold on. I'll take this one. Nope, I'll take this one. So like this is the one you want to look at because it goes higher high, higher low. Came all the way up here, didn't break that, so it's in the middle of that range. You want to wait for this structure to break right here. So if this comes down and breaks that structure to the downside, actually, it's this one, sorry. Because you had, I'll just start from here. Boom, boom, oops, shoot. Hopefully you're understanding this. If you're not, it's okay. And also I have mentorship positions open where you can work one-on-one with me. So you can go to, I think it's tradewithbob.com, or you can just go to bobsproof.com. A lot of people are joining my Pulse X right now, which is fantastic. Like you'll get 3 group coachings a week. Look, so here's a structure break right here. That broke that structure. That's your pullback up into this area. Did not break this high. Your entry would have been up here, actually. So let's look at that. You could have had a super tight stop right here, like super, super tight if you wanted it. Boom, you could have had like a 2.4 pip stop. Me personally, I kind of avoid that anymore, and I'll just throw like a 5 on there, just because I get wicked out so much. But already, even with the 5, it's a 1 to 7, and chances are it's going to drop way down here, right? So there's that. I'm going to try to finish up here in the next couple minutes. But if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and comment, right? And if you're on Telegram, make sure to comment. You could also join my pre-Telegram group and message everybody, talk to everybody. It's pretty cool. And if you're not a part of Pulse X, again, here's pulsexpremium.com. We're having a special right now. If you haven't gotten the order block indicator that I'm talking about right now, you can go to pipstacking.com. And then you can go to bobsproof.com to check out all my students' testimonials. And then you can also apply to work with me from there. So I'm just going to glance at this one more time. So obviously buys from here to here. Right now you'd be looking for a buy. DXY is buys right now. That's also why I'm looking at gold for sells, right? That's the dollar index looks sells. It's usually the opposite, right? So we're buying. Well, we're not buying DXY, but I look at the DXY for mainly sells off of gold, right? Because buys right now, if that makes sense. GBP AUD, I see some structure breaks, so it could be reversing. So I'd be waiting for a pullback right now. Remember, look, broke structure, wait for pullback, buy, right? CAD CHF, sells, come on. So we're just waiting for pullback, which I think is probably in a order block right now. Let's see what PulseX said to do. Look at that beautiful trend call. This one was invalidated. If you knew how to take, well, no, that would have been a good move, actually. This would have been once this broke up, that would have been 35 pips. So it's either break even or you got like some extra money. That's how I look at that one. Cool. So, all right, guys, again, just go, I don't know where I put that. There it is. Go to pulsexpremium.com to buy my latest indicator, where we have 3 live coaching calls per week, and we're constantly updating it. Pipstacking.com to buy this indicator, and then bobsproof.com to work one-on-one with me and check out my student testimonials. All right, take care. God bless. Back it out.